Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where you'll notice this is still this timeline. I think I'm okay with it for now, at least for the sake of brevity. Like, Brazil has their army back, we have a toehold. I kind of want to get to Kerbal Space Program. If you've got a problem with that, please let me know. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything in the comment section as of the recording of this. And it is time to record it, so I guess I have to make a decision, and for now, this is what the decision is. Now, we're definitely working on our supply in this region, and that is completely fine. Like, I'm 100% okay with this stalemate happening here. That said, they could probably push in with our current actual combat effectiveness here. Our current fighting strength on these is 100% sure, but our organization is not. Now, Is organization only really used for attacking, or is it also used for defending? I actually don't know. We can recruit an operative, and I'm going to recruit this guy. Excellent. So that is definitely something to know, but I'm starting to dig into the mechanics of this game now, and I'm starting to understand how this is working. So we really do need to work on the logistics in this region. That is what we need above all else, is to get these logistics and hold this toehold. Now, I did a little bit of calculation, and it looks like ultimately we can get up to 230 supply in this region. Now, we currently require 194.11. Let me pull up a calculator here. 194.11, approximately, divided by 2, or actually divided by 3, is 64.7. Okay, so another army here would definitely stretch our supply capability. Now, we are currently working on modern tanks. However, we currently also have 10 modern tanks in this army. I'd like to spread those out a little bit, because when we change over our tanks, that is going to be a significant signal of weakness here. So I'd like to balance these out maybe a little bit. So let's grab this, and we have how many total tanks? We have, looks like, 18 total tanks. Well, that is convenient, because that means that we can just move 10 tanks from this army, or rather, we can move 4 tanks from this army here over into this army here. And, which army is this? I don't know which army this is. Okay, Army 21. Yeah, this is Army 21. Okay, so we'll bump them over there, and then to compensate, we'll move 4 units of infantry over to here. Excellent. And then everything else should be reasonably good, I think. So we'll just move that around. Now, that's not necessarily going to fix the issue. We're going to have to slowly, over time, put in the modern tanks once those are correctly done. Now, we're also going to need to continue working on our strip iron ore mines. I'm also going to start working on some chromium mines, because we are going to need those as well. So we'll get started on those. And this division can go ahead and go on in here. Fantastic. As can this one, actually. And this one. Okay, there we go. We do need a little bit more rubber. Let's go ahead and grab that. And how are we doing on constructing our naval bases? We are making progress here. Great. We definitely need to finish that up. And I think once we have modern tanks, we're probably going to switch our light tanks over. Because let's see, we're currently producing 3 lines of heavy tanks and 1 of light tanks. I think we'll switch our light tanks over first, and like 1 of these lines of heavy tanks. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. We'll leave the other 2 temporarily, and then we'll split off like a quarter of our tanks at a time and wait for them to reinforce. We will get the heavy tank in our marine divisions first. That'll be fine. Also, I'm going to go ahead and switch over at this time our motorized over into mechanized. because that is definitely something that I want to do. I'm also going to bump up our production here. In fact, I'm going to bump it up like that. Eventually, we will have the factories to finish that off, but we don't just yet. Now, yes, we are currently producing equipment that we have no division template for. That will change. That will absolutely change. Our armored divisions, we're going to switch our motorized infantry over into mechanized infantry soon enough. And we're going to also add mechanics in there as soon as we can. Yeah, we're missing equipment production, but we don't care. We have plenty of motorized. I'm not concerned. Yeah, I'm deeply unconcerned about that. I was thinking about developing an oil field. I don't think we need it, though. We definitely need additional iron and chromium. There's no doubt about that. But let's just get started on mechanized equipment. We do have some stockpiled, but we're just going to work on getting our production cap up. That said, we're going to want to grab mechanized, let's see here, it would be Mechanized 3 pretty soon. And these Amtracks enables basic amphibious tractors. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care about that. Yeah, I don't care about motorized either. Excellent. How are we doing supply-wise over here? 200 out of 102. Fine. That is definitely making progress. There is no doubt about that. As I tab out to check to see if I deleted the previous episode for some reason. I don't know why I felt the need to do it right now. It's kind of pointless. However, I do want to change this offensive line. I want to push them to this river, ideally. So we will go ahead and set ourselves up an offensive line here. Honestly, this would be pretty ideal. That would be incredibly ideal, actually. We'll see if we can get them there. That would open up quite a lot more supply for us, eventually. Not immediately, but eventually. Okay, how are we doing on our maintenance company? That's still 33 days away. Fine. Okay, we have an unassigned division here. We'll go ahead and toss him in straight into that army. And I do actually want to make sure that these guys are on their way over. So we're going to give them an area defense order just right here. So that way, hopefully, they all make their way over this way rather than just chilling in Europe pointlessly. So that'll be fine. Yeah, I don't care about the missing equipment production. I really, really don't. It is completely irrelevant. We're just going to work on our mechanized equipment too. So that'll be fine. Our intelligence is just kind of chilling. That's okay. We definitely want to work on our strip iron ore deposits here. That'll be a very, very important thing for us. So that is fine. Now, currently, we are... How are we doing on our resources? Yeah, we're just massively minus on the steel. But switching over to modern tanks should actually get us a little more equalized on the steel. Not fully equalized, but a little more. And it'll cost us a lot more chromium, which is why we're working on developing that. Excellent. I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident in this game now that I'm digging into the mechanics and seeing how it all really works. Or how at least I assume it works in some cases. I did a little bit of a simulation before this, and I discovered that by switching our tanks all at once over to modern tanks, we just destroy our fighting capability over here, and they just push in and push us out. So, lesson learned. Let's be a little more cautious with that. For right now, they seem to be relatively content to just let us entrench over here. So I'm very happy about that. Oh, that reminds me. I did want to work on some of these support companies. Now, I don't want to necessarily add additional support companies here. That said, they do have 12... They do have a fair number, actually, of tanks here. So maybe we do want to add in a support anti-tank into our assault division. as well as into our Marine Division. I mean, at the very least, it's not going to hurt them, right? In theory. Okay, so we'll get started on that. How long until our modern tanks are done? Still another 38 days. Okay, well, let's get started on our... Let's see, not our special forces, but in our support companies, I want to start working on improving our engineers for right now. Massed bomber formations finishing up, sure, that's fine. I don't really care about that right now. I also want to start working on our artillery, so let's start working on that. Excellent. Maintenance companies will be finishing up in 10 days. That is fantastic. So the next question is, does Brazil allow us to get away with this? So far they are. However, in my previous simulation, they let us get away with this for a while. Not ultimately long enough, but it was mostly my own timing on changing over the tanks that caused it. And I also had the tanks heavily in this side, and this was the side that they attacked. So there's that too. So I think we're going to change them like one line at a time. If we go into here, we would change like this line over, and then we'd change this line, then finally our infantry line is what I think is going to end up happening. We'll see. Hopefully we don't just absolutely collapse. That would be super awkward. Maintenance company is going to finish up in 2 days, so I'm reasonably happy about that. We'll be able to get those into the armored divisions quite easily. And there it is. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and put them into the armored divisions now, and we'll toss in that maintenance company. Wonderful. And then let's see here. Oh, hello. Iron ore mines expansion, as well as some chromium mines. Fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and work on Maintenance Company 2 and Recon Company 3 when we can. Like, I'm kind of backing off on the planes for right now, because we actually have the ability to do some fighting here. So I'd like to be able to do that. That would be nice. Let's check in on our supply situation here. I always go to the wrong one. We are about to finish up another level of naval bases here. That is fantastic. Yeah, that's going to bump us up to 132, because each of these give us 3 supply. And we have five provinces that are on the coast. So that will continue to help our organization. That will be great. That went to that didn't go to 132. It doesn't seem to have moved at all. On the month tick, maybe? Previous bottleneck. Infrastructure. Okay, we are having an infrastructure bottleneck. Wait, where was that infrastructure bottleneck at? Belgaum. In Free India. I'm sorry, what? Why are we having an infrastructure bottleneck in Free India? I'm very confused. Because of this supply line, I guess. It must be. Let's see. This one here goes from Piranha. Yeah, from up here. That is correct. This one here, though, is kind of out of our control. Like, we can't build infrastructure up here. We can see that they only have 5 infrastructure, but what are we supposed to do about that? This is our allies' infrastructure level, and we don't appear to be able to build that. Can we ask them for building rights? Like, ask for control of state. No, that's not anything that they would be able to give us. Interesting. So we're being bottlenecked by our ally. This is outgoing supply. This is the incoming. Can we change that? Like, I'd like to be providing my own incoming supply, thank you very much. That would be a very nice thing to be able to change. So, can we change how that supply is flowing? Compliance is currently growing here, but that actually explains a lot with my simulation previously of why we were overrun the way we were. Okay. So, we're getting... What are we supposed to do about that? It's our allies' infrastructure that's bottlenecking us. Because it generated that the incoming supply is coming all the way from India. For some reason, that is a very strange decision to make. Like, I would send the supplies from here, or even our capital here. Or technically our capital is here. But I would send it like all of our other outgoing supply lines. Actually, our outgoing supply lines aren't coming from there. But I would send it like from this outgoing supply line. It goes right by there anyway. So what are we supposed to do about our ally not building the infrastructure? I mean, we could theoretically switch to free India and build the infrastructure, like queue it up. That is something we could do. I don't know if they're building infrastructure right now. How are we supposed to solve that? The bottleneck is infrastructure outside of our territory. Very, very strange, if you ask me. Why is it coming from India? Why would the supplies come from here? That is baffling to me. Okay, so this is definitely something that needs to be solved. Apparently our incoming supplies aren't coming from us, which I assumed that they were. This is outgoing supply here, and this is incoming, but it is not coming from us. I don't see anything here to change where these supplies are coming from. But we have full infrastructure in all of these locations that I would love to send supplies from. Like, we have full infrastructure literally everywhere in our empire. And yet it's coming from outside of our empire, where we don't control it. Like, we can't build there either, obviously. But it's coming from outside of our empire, where we can't do it. We can't build here. So why is it choosing to come from here? That is baffling. Like, of course that's going to be a bottleneck. You're going all the way around Africa for no reason. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, that's gonna bottleneck. I mean, I suppose we could try to figure out... Like, I suppose we could queue it up ourselves. Like, we would tag into Free India, queue it up, and then tag back to Ethiopia. That is a possibility. And I guess we could simulate that by, like, saying we're writing a memo to Free India being like, hey, we'll pay for this. we're kind of not. I suppose I could, like, do something to utilize some civilian factories to try to simulate that. Except we don't have any political power. Okay, so I guess let's just hop in and see if they're already doing it. So I don't know what their tag is, so we would have to do debug mode. Or is it just debug? It's just debug. Okay, so W95 pound 8. Okay, so tag W95. It should just be W95, I think. We're now playing Pratiharis. Okay. Number 8. Does not seem to be a valid tag. Oh, of course, because the owner is Pratiharis, but this is Free India. This tag is Raj. Okay, so tag Raj. Okay, so this is us playing Free India here. And the state in question is... Let's get into the logistical map mode here. This is the state in question. We can see they're not trying to build the infrastructure. So we'll just queue that up. And hopefully the AI won't change that. Okay, so let's tag back to Ethiopia. Like, I don't know how else we're supposed to handle that, because I don't see a way to change... I don't see a way to change the supply route. And they're our allies, so I'm just telling them, hey, construct this. And if you do, we'll give you something. What are we going to give them for it? I suppose we could... give them control of a state, but I kind of don't want to. I mean, they're our allies, so maybe they're just willing to do it, because supplies were already flowing through there anyway. I wonder if there's something that I could do. Command power? Like army experience? I don't know what the console commands would be for these things. I wonder if we could just give them, like, hypothetically, give them some political power for that. So, like, for example, would it be power? And then, like, say, minus 100? No. Okay. Exciting. Maybe something like political underscore power? Minus 100? Yes. Okay. So we gave them 100 political power in exchange for constructing that. I feel like that's a reasonably fair trade. Mostly because I don't know how to trade anything else. Okay, so they're constructing that. I'm going to proceed for a little bit here. There's special forces finishing up. That's all well and good. Let's grab Mechanized 3. Excellent. And I'm just letting it tick forward a little bit here. Let's go a full day tick. And now let's tag back in. Tag Raj. Okay. And I just want to check. They did not cancel it. They moved it down the priority list. But that's fine. It's still constructing. Okay. So we'll hop back into Ethiopia then. Fantastic. Well, that was weird. But I don't know of another way to handle that situation. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment and let me know how I could have handled that. But when it's our ally like that, and trade is for some reason flowing through their port, I don't see a way to change the flow of trade. And I didn't see a way to properly construct it ourselves. But I feel like that's a relatively fair trade. The political power for that. We just spent it on convincing them to build some infrastructure. So they should have that done in about 5 months. It'll take about 1 month per level of infrastructure, which means that every month we should see this starting to go up, in theory. Now, we currently are working on modern tanks, and that won't be done for another 9 days, but that's fair enough. I think I'm reasonably okay with that. But yeah, if there's a way to get this to change where these supply transfers are coming from... Oh, wait, we're still in debug mode. If we... that doesn't really help anything. Okay. Let's turn debug mode back off. Fantastic. If you know of any way to change where these logistics are flowing from, or a way to get the AI to build infrastructure where the logistics are flowing from, please let me know. I don't know of one, so I think that was largely our only option. At any rate, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.